So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now in this video, it's going to be a very in-depth video. And as you can tell by the title, basically in this video, we're going to go through how you can become an e-com titan. Now, when I say an e-com titan, I mean how you can just really understand paid traffic as a whole, more specifically Facebook ads for e-commerce brands, people who own their own e-commerce brand. And also you may be, and probably more commonly, you're going to own your own e-commerce SMMA like I do. Okay. Either way, whether you have your own e-com brand or you have an e-com SMMA, this video is going to turn you into an e-com titan. This video is going to break down exactly how you can routinely generate unmatched results for either your clients' e-commerce brands or your own e-commerce brand. Now in this video, we're going to be covering a bunch of different stuff. The first thing that we're going to go through is understanding Facebook structure. Now what I mean when I say understanding Facebook structure is understanding the different levels and the different things that Facebook has to offer that we can leverage to get e-com clients or your own e-commerce brand the best results. There's certain things, right? Because looking at, just Facebook ads as a whole, the strategies and things that you want to leverage massively differ from example, local lead gen to e-commerce. From there, once we truly understand Facebook's foundation, Facebook structure, we're then going to look at the best practices to use for e-commerce brands, right? Because as I say, certain things massively differ for e-commerce brands. We're going to look at the best practices at the campaign level, the ad set level, as well as the ad level. I'm really going to break everything down in this video. From there, we're going to look at metrics that matter. Too many people base their success off either vanity metrics or they just don't know what to look out for. So they kind of don't know what ads are working, what aren't, they don't know what campaigns are working, what aren't. We're going to break down what each metric means and why it is vital to understand them for, e-commerce. And again, we're going to go through kind of benchmark numbers that you want for each of those metrics, right? Kind of what you should be shooting for. I'm really just, as I say, giving you benchmarks to base yourself off of either, within your client's ad account or your own ad account. And once we've gone through that, I'm going to do something that I've never done on this channel before. I'm actually going to be giving you guys a live walkthrough of a real client ad account that we are working with right now. And it's actually our best performing client in terms of ROAS, right? It's super high ROAS. And I'm actually going to give you guys a live walkthrough of exactly how we're structuring certain things. I'm really just showing you in real time the type of ROAS that, what we're going to be covering in this video really warrants in real time, in real life. Like guys, this video isn't based on some kind of, just ideas or anything like that. This is like what we implement at Bax Consulting for all of our e-commerce clients and info product clients as well, but it's going to be more tailored towards e-commerce brands and e-commerce clients. It's everything that we implement that routinely churns out unmatched results at scale as well. Like it's serious stuff that we're genuinely implementing that's actually working, right? This is just cold hard fact. It's not some like kind of airy fairy thing. It's pulled directly from client ad accounts that we can see is working to this day. And then I'm also going to be breaking down the ultimate funnel for e-commerce brands in order to scale them to $5,000 to $6,000 per day in ad spend, right? I'm gonna go through the funnel, and really what that funnel entails is a testing section and a scaling section, but how to test in the best and most efficient and effective way, and then how to leverage what we've found in the testing phase and really leverage it to scale. And as I say, this funnel that we're gonna go through literally enables us to scale to $5,000 to $6,000 a day in ad spend at ridiculous ROAS at the same time. And then to finish it off, we're gonna go through the only structure that you should be using for either, as I say, your e-commerce client ad accounts or your own e-com ad account. There's really only one structure that you should be following, and I'm gonna be breaking that down as well in this video. Guys, this is gonna be a ridiculously valuable video. So just before we jump into it, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on those post notifications because it massively helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And I'm not going to hold you any longer. Let's jump straight into the training. So as I say, Facebook ad wizardry, becoming an e-com titan. So just before we jump into it, I want to go through just some real client real client results, right? Because some of you may have never heard of me before. You're like, who is this guy? And you may be asking yourself like, why am I kind of showing you and teaching you guys how to get unmatched results for e-commerce clients via paid traffic, right? And it's because we routinely produce these types of results for our clients, right? We've got clients that stem across all types of e-commerce sub niches as well as info product clients. And these are the types types of results that we generate. So this is one of our clients right now. As you can see, the date range at the top right-hand corner, the 1st of January 2020 to the 15th of June 2020, we have spent $41,600 and we brought in $618,000 for an average ROAS of 14.84. Now, if any of you don't understand what these metrics are, what ROAS is, what purchase conversion value is, and all this different type of stuff, again, we're going to be breaking that down in this training. Here's another client. Now, this is actually a client tracking sheet that you can see here. It's a client tracking sheet, not the ads manager, but again, you can see in the month of April, we spent almost $18,000 and brought in almost $95 for a slightly lower ROAS of 5.18. But you know, the scale is definitely there. We spent almost 18 grand in that 1 month. This is another client, again, 1st of June to the 16th of June. We are obviously 2020, it's all updated. This is not like something that worked like last year. This is what's working right now. We spent $6,000 and we brought back in $58,000 for an average ROAS of 9.68. So again, another really, really good client, slightly lower in ad spend, but as I say, this is stuff that just routinely works at, you know, $6,000 a month, or as you can see, at $18,000 a month. And we've got clients right now who are spending, you know, like 4 or 5K a day as well. And it's working amazingly well for those types of clients as well. Here's another one, 1st of April to the 30th of June, spent 30K and brought back in 445,000 for an average ROAS, again, of 15.67. So let's get into the training. Now, there's 3 pillars, right? There's just 3 simple pillars to Facebook advertising. Those 3 pillars: campaign level, ad set level, and ad level. Now, the campaign level and the ad set level, as you can see, is in the back end. So this is what people don't see. Nobody sees the campaign level and the ad set level. Whereas the ad level, that's the front end. So when you go into Facebook and you see, you know, you're scrolling through your feed and you see, and you get served an ad, right? And it's got like copy, it's got text, and then it's got like either a video or an image or a carousel when you swipe through, and then it's got like a call to action at the bottom. That is the ad level. So that's what everybody sees. The campaign and ad set level, that's where you want to do the audit. So that's where really you depict who sees the ad, right? Do I see the ad, or does a 45-year-old woman see the ad? Do I see the ad based in Australia, or does somebody in the US see the ad, or somebody in the UK see the ad? All of that type of stuff is depicted at the ad set level, and the campaign level really is just, you know, the highest point. And then the ad set level, then you've got the ad level. And here's a really, really good image that kind of just explains the different levels. So this is pulled directly from Facebook, slightly blurry, I apologize for that, but this is basically the campaign structure, right? It says the new campaign structure, but this is what it is, right? So at the campaign level, you've got each campaign corresponds to a single advertising objective, like driving website traffic. And we're going to get into campaign objectives here in a minute and go through what the best is for e-commerce. But as I say, I just want to give you a good overview. So at the top, we've got the campaign level. Then that breaks down into the ad set level. So at the ad set level, you can set a budget and schedule a budget and a schedule for each of your ad sets, and organize each set by audience segment, right? So i.e. people who live near your store. This is more based for local lead gen, but you know, it's the same idea, right? So at the ad set level, as I mentioned before, this is basically where you're gonna be, planning your targeting, right? So is it people who like dogs who are 55 and above who are based in the US? If that's your target audience, then that's where you want to depict that. You want to depict that at the ad set level, right? And then from there, at the ad set level, we then break down one step further at the ad level. Now, each ad set can feature multiple ads featuring different images, text, links, or videos. You will still define creative, targeting, and bidding for each of your ads. So this is basically now where, if you've got that same targeting for that ad set, like I mentioned, people who like dogs 55 and above in the US and they're female, for example. Well, that's one ad set. And then inside of that ad set, you could have 4 different ads with 4 different images and 4 different pieces of text, for example, right? And so you'll be able to see which ad is working best. Is this picture working best? Or is this video working best? Is this carousel best? Or is this video best? That's what you want to do at the ad level. Now, again, don't click away from the video just yet. If it doesn't make too much sense, don't worry, we're going to be breaking it down in serious detail throughout this training. That's what this video is for. Now, one thing you need to understand is that there's 2 types of campaigns. So first things first, we've got ABO, right? ABO stands for Ad Set Budget Optimization. The second type is CBO. So we've got campaign budget optimization. Now here again is a really, really good image that really shows and breaks down the difference between ABO and CBO. So on the left-hand side, you can see it says without campaign budget optimization. So without campaign budget optimization, that basically means ABO, ad set budget optimization. So you can see on the left, you got ad set. So you've got the campaign at the top again, and that breaks down into your ad sets. Then you've got ad set 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you are running ABO, ad set budget optimization, that means that you set the budget at the ad set level. So you got ad set 1, ad set 2, and ad set 3. If you was to set $10 on each of those ad sets, you would be spending $30 a day, but it's $10 strictly on each of those ad sets despite performance. And so as you can see there, going a step further down, you can see $10, $10, and $10. Total conversions is 10, right? Even though ad set 2 is clearly outperforming. It doesn't matter because you've set the budget at the ad set level for each of the ad sets. Now, if we look at with CBO, it's a slightly different structure. So that set, you're still spending $30. Either way, ABO or CBO, you're still going to be spending $30. Now though, that same amount of money, $30, is just set at the campaign level. So now you've still got the same ad sets. You're still spending the same amount, but if we go one step further down, you can see that ad set 2 got $18, ad set 1 got $7, and ad set 3 got $5. So now the total conversions is 15 because ad set 2 was working better. And so what Facebook does is it optimizes that ad and puts more spend on ad set 2. Now you may be thinking, like, why don't we just use CBO all the time? If you're going to get 15 conversions instead of 10 conversions, why wouldn't you just always use CBO? Well, I'm going to discuss in detail which you should use and at what point later on in this video. Should you use ABO or should you use CBO? If you should, when should you use each one? I'm going to be discussing that in depth later on in this video, so hold tight. Now, let's look at some ad account best practices. And guys, like, these are seriously vital for e-commerce. If you have been working in the local lead gen niche, that's amazing. You'll understand what I've just gone through in terms of the structures and the different segments and whatnot. That's amazing. But if you don't follow these ad account best practices for e-commerce, like, your results you just won't have any results. It'll be very, very difficult for you to generate results. And even if you do, they're not going to be the best that they can possibly be. So these are vital for e-commerce. Now, let's look at the campaign level. So campaign objective. A campaign objective indicates what your goal is with running that specific campaign. Okay. Now, these are the types that you can choose from. You've got the campaign objective and you've got to select something when you go to create a campaign. I'm going to walk you through all of this here in a minute. But these are the selections that you've got. You've got brand awareness, you've got reach, traffic, app installs, video views, lead generation, post engagement, page likes, event responses, messages, conversions, catalog sales, store traffic. They're all the conversion objectives that you've got. Each one optimizes the entire campaign for whatever it is that you select, right? If you're doing lead generation, then the campaign is going to be solely optimized around getting leads. If you do messages, for example, that campaign is going to be solely optimized around getting as many messages as possible. Now, for e-commerce, campaign objective has to be conversions and nothing else. Nothing else. See how I've got it on here, selected conversions. It has to be that selection. It has to be conversions. Reason being is because we don't care about anything else. I see this all the time, and I guarantee you, whoever says this is from somebody who's either never ran any ads or they've never gotten amazing results with ads. I guarantee you it, guys, right? If anybody else says ever that you should do a different campaign objective for e-commerce brands other than conversions, they've never ran ads or they've never gotten amazing results with ads. I can guarantee it. Here's why: because conversions, that's the only thing we care about. We don't care about getting, if we was to choose traffic, who cares about getting more traffic to the website? Nobody cares about getting more traffic to the website. What we want, as you can see, is conversions. That is what we want. That's why we're running ads, because we're trying to get more conversions. We're not trying to get more traffic to the website. Getting more traffic to the website is a byproduct of getting more conversions, but we don't just want traffic. In fact, we don't want traffic. We want conversions. And so that's why you need to optimize the ad for conversions. Now, let's look at the ad set level. Okay, so there's 4 key things at the ad set level that you must ensure every ad set that you ever run for an e-commerce brand has these 4 things. First things first, only optimize for purchase. Again, this is something that I see a lot of the time. People are saying, you should optimize for add to cart, you should optimize for view content, or whatever else that they're saying. And again, anybody who says that has either never ran ads or they've never been successful at running ads. Reason being we only ever want to optimize for purchase is because that's all we want. Again, it goes back to what's our goal? It's to get conversions, namely get purchases. So we need to optimize the campaign and the ad set for those things. We don't want add to carts. Again, I see people say that you should optimize for add to carts or you should optimize for view content or initiate checkout. But we don't want that. So why are we telling Facebook that that's what we want? It doesn't make sense. We want purchases. So we tell Facebook that we want purchases. See, if you're running an ad set and it's optimizing for add to carts, for example, if that ad is producing add to carts, Facebook will deem that ad set as successful and it will continue doing what it's doing. It will continue optimizing for add to carts, even though you're getting no purchases. So if you've got 100 add to carts and no purchases, Facebook doesn't care. Because they see, okay, cool, he's optimizing for, or she's optimizing for add to carts. This ad set is getting add to carts. Let's keep doing what we're doing. It's winning. That said, you're getting no purchases. And, clients or yourself even, you don't care about getting add to carts. So you need to optimize for purchase because, if you're running that same ad set, but it's optimized for purchases, Facebook's going to look at that ad set. And if it's got no purchases, Facebook's going to look at that ad set and think, okay, it's not working. Let's change something up. Let's optimize for something different. Let's put it into this segmented audience and try that. They're going to be working in the back end to try and get you what you're optimizing for, which is purchases. This is just a foundation to how we generate these types of results. And as I say, anybody who says otherwise has never ran ads or never been successful at running ads, okay? Next thing, never have more than one interest / lookalike audience per ad set. Now, the reason you never want more than one interest or lookalike audience per ad set is because, if you've got like 10 different interests per ad set and that ad set's working really well, I can guarantee you those results, right? Let's say you've got 20 results, right? 20 purchases. You've got 20 purchases from an ad set that's got 12 audiences, right? Arbitrary numbers. Let me ask you this question. Where have those 20 purchases come from? You don't know. You have no idea. It's one of the 12 audiences, but you don't know. And so, you cannot scale things that you aren't 100% certain on. You can't scale things that you haven't tracked. You haven't tracked where those 20 purchases have come from. Now, let's say the same instance, but you split those 12 audiences up in separate ad sets, right? So ad set 1 has got interest 1, ad set 2, interest 2, down to the 12th interest, right? Now, if ad set 4 with interest 4 has got 20 purchases, well, you can scale that because you know that interest is the one that's killing it or doing really, really well. And so you can scale it, and that's how you start to get amazing returns on investment, returns on ad spend, right? Don't ever put more than one interest per ad set unless the interest is too small. If the interest is under 100,000 in size, right? So you may target AirPods, right? AirPod interest, right? Something super random. That interest may be under 100,000. And so what you'd ought to do in that situation is stack another interest on top to get it above the 100,000 level. But that's kind of far and few between. For the most part, one interest, one lookalike per ad set. Next up is that we must ensure detailed expansion is off, okay? Because again, it follows the same idea as point number 2. If detailed expansion is on, basically what that means is that Facebook's going to have a look at where the purchases have come from, and they're going to expand that audience to more people who kind of hold that same idea. But again, because they've expanded into a separate audience, you now don't know where the results are coming from. You don't know if it is that actual interest you're targeting, or if it's some other audience that Facebook's optimizing for. You don't know where it's come from. So again, you can't scale it because you've not specifically tracked where the purchases have come from. And the fourth thing, placements. If the ad account is new / doesn't have a lot of data, then only run ads to Instagram and Facebook feeds. So if you start working with a client and they've maybe been spending like $1,000 a month on ads, there's not going to be too much data on that ad account. So you want to only run the placements to Instagram and Facebook feeds. Conversely, if the ad account has a lot of data, meaning it's been spending a healthy amount for quite a while, then do automatic placements. And here's why. Some ad accounts where there's been a lot of money spent, you can do no targeting. Literally no targeting. And we're doing that for one of our clients right now, where we are spending, I think it's around 4K a day we're at right now. And we literally have some audiences where it is no targeting. Reason being is because there's so much data on that ad account that Facebook can look at. There's so many data points that they can pull from that they can kind of do their own targeting, Facebook automatically, and it gets really good results. The problem being though is that if there's no data on the ad account, then Facebook's got nothing to look at. So you need to really tell Facebook. And it's the same idea with placements, right? You could do automatic placements, and because Facebook's got so many data points to look at, they can kind of optimize and put the ads in the best placements that they think is going to work best. Whereas if you've got no data on the ad account, they can't see what's previously worked, what continues to work, or anything of that nature. So they can't really optimize in the best possible way because they've got nothing to optimize off of, right? So you need to tell them, and you need to set it at Instagram and Facebook feeds until you get to a certain point, and then you can start to branch out into automatic placements. Now, let's look at the ad level. So the ad level, as I mentioned, is what people see. When you go on Instagram, you're scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, whatever. When you go on Instagram, you're scrolling through Facebook. When you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you see an ad, that is the ad level. Now, this is what it looks like, right? This is the ad level. This is a normal ad. This is actually an ad that I was running for Bax Consulting. Guys, like as I say, I genuinely have a e-commerce agency that runs these ads for e-commerce brands, right? And so I was running this ad to get clients for my agency. And so this is what it looks like, right? This is a very generic, general ad. Now let's have a look at some ad level necessities for e-commerce again. First things first, long form copy. Guys, I cannot begin to tell you how powerful long form copy is for e-commerce brands. Why? Because everybody nowadays is doing simple, boring, terrible copy. And so if you've got a client or it's your own brand again, and you do long form copy, you really speak to the audience you're running the ad to, you're really striking a nerve within that audience, you stand out from the rest. You position you're on a whole new level, or your client is on a whole new level because your copy just stands out. Nobody else is doing this. That's the first thing. Second thing, creatives that fit in. Let me speak on this for a minute. Creatives that fit in. What does that mean? Well, creatives is the picture or the video, or picture or video, right? That's the creative from. That's the content, that's the creative from. And so any ad that looks like an ad never works. Okay, which is why long form copy works well, because nobody's running it, so it doesn't look like an ad. Everybody's kind of got a preconception of what an ad looks like, right? It's like the green tick, right? I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. When you go in on Facebook and you see that green tick with like a benefit, and then the next line down is usually 3 green ticks and 3 benefits. That's what a normal ad nowadays looks like. So when you do long form copy and you couple it with a creative that fits into the feed, is what I mean by that. Like it fits into the feed. It doesn't look like an ad. Guys, I can't explain how powerful that is. And that's how we generate routinely those types of results that I showed you at the start of the video, right? It's because of that. Now, creatives that fit in, as I mentioned, you don't want that ad to stand out. You don't want it to look like an ad. You want it to fit into the customer's feed. Like this creative here, as you can see, right? This image fits into somebody's feed, right? Whoever it's being shown to. Like that doesn't look like an ad. And so it works amazingly well. And that's what I mean by that second point there in terms of creatives that fit in. Now, the third necessity at the ad level is adverts that resonate. Guys, I cannot begin to explain how important it is that you create ads that actually resonate with the audience you're showing it to. See, remember those 3, that example I just said about the 3 benefits and the green tick saying like, this product makes your life better. It changes things. It increases your happiness. That does not resonate with anybody. Nobody cares, right? Whereas, so for example, again, I could have said in this, let me have a look. So this ad right here on the left-hand side, that's copy, right? That's what ad copy is. It's the text. I could have said, work with Bax Consulting. It grows your business. It, gets you more purchases. It makes you more money. That's what I could have said. Whereas instead, I built out that copy that speaks to my ideal customer, ideal client in this case, and really strikes a nerve within them. And look at this, right? So let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you this. Which advert do you think performed better, my one or Squarespace? Now, I don't want to call out Squarespace. I'm not, there's no malicious intent behind this. I literally just went onto the Facebook literally this morning and I seen this ad, right? A step-by-step guide to building a customizable Squarespace website. That's their copy. Do you really think that's resonating with anyone? Do you really think that's striking a nerve within Squarespace's ideal customer? It's not. Right? Or you've got mine on the left-hand side, which says 72 out of 100 businesses will fail in their first 5 years. Not because their product isn't viable, not because they don't know how to run a business, but because they don't have a predictable way of generating a consistent stream of new customers month in, month out. See, most e-commerce and info product businesses focus 100% on making their product as good as it possibly can be, which is exactly what they should be doing. But then they realize that they have no way of generating customers for it. And if they do, it isn't profitable. This is why 72 out of 100 businesses fail. Watch how we keep our e-commerce and info product clients in business and make them prosper. Now, look, this piece of ad copy actually isn't really that great. I'm actually not running this ad anymore because I just, I can do so much better now, right? It's just not that great. I kind of whipped this up. I just wanted to test, as you can see at the bottom there, I've added in a case study, right, a VSL. So I just wanted to try and test that, see what the opt-in rate was like, etc. This actually isn't that great piece of a copy, but I can guarantee you it still outperformed something of that nature on the right-hand side. Now, ads manager metrics that matter. As I said to you at the start of the video, a lot of people base their success off of vanity metrics. They look at things that kind of don't matter, right? Let's go through ads manager metrics that truly matter. These are the only metrics you really need to understand within reason. First things first, CPM, which means cost per 1,000 impressions. You want this dollar amount to be as low as possible. Basically, all this means is how much are you paying to reach 1,000 people? Obviously, you don't want that to be $50. You want it to be $10. You want it to be $5 if possible. Next up, we've got unique CTR link click. CTR means click-through rate, right? So unique click-through rate link click, okay? This basically means the percentage of people who see your advert and then click through to the site/funnel. You really want this percentage to be as high as possible. And ideally for e-commerce, you want it to be a 2% and above. And look, guys, I'm telling you right now, you will not generate a 2% unique CTR link click using ads that look like this one on the right-hand side, Squarespace. And again, I really don't want to throw shade at the brand, but I can guarantee you they just won't generate a 2% unique CTR link click with copy of that nature, because CTR is a product of the creative, which is the picture, right? So learn everything you need to know about that is the creative. So CTR is a combination of the creative and the copy, right? The text. Text like that is not generating a 2%. Text like mine, this was actually performing just over a 3% CTR, right? Unique link click CTR. My one was performing just over a 3%. Why? Because it speaks to my ideal customer or client and resonates with them on a deep level and strikes a nerve within them. So when they read it, they're like, oh my God, I need this. This is me right now. They click through. That's where your CTR comes from. Next up is CPC, which basically means cost per click, right? You want this to be as low as possible. Ideally, you want it to be under $1 for e-com, right? If you've got e-com clients, or again, your own e-commerce brand, you want your cost per click to be ideally under $1. Right now, our clients are ranging from around 30 cents up to around 85 to 90 cents. That's a really, really good range. Now, obviously, this is going to vary from client to client, industry to industry, product to product. More expensive products naturally are just going to warrant a slightly higher CPC. But ideally, as I say, for a ballpark figure, you want it to be under $1. Next up, we got cost per CPP, which is cost per purchase. No really real need to explain that. That is just how much you're paying to generate a purchase. Now, the reason there's no kind of benchmark for this is because it just hugely ranges from client to client. And you just want to speak to each client about what their kind of cost of goods sold are, what they can afford to pay to generate a purchase, etc., etc. Next up, we got ROAS. ROAS, which basically means return on ad spend. You want this decimal number to be as high as possible. So ROAS is going to give you, the ROAS metric, the ROAS column within the ads manager is going to give you some sort of a number, right? It's going to be like a 3.0, 4.0, whatever. basically what that means that, you know, if you're running an ad and it says 4.3, right? What that means is that for every dollar you're spending on that ad set or campaign, whatever it is, you're generating $4.30 back. So you want that to be as high as possible, because ideally you want to be spending $1 and getting $10 back or $15 back, right? Higher the better. Now, metrics, you need to understand. This is super, super important. These metrics are more from the client's end, and you need to understand them. I actually created a video previously in regards to metrics that you should understand from, you know, e-commerce clients, and you want to understand these metrics because it's going to actually help you get better results for the client. First things first, break even ROAS. Okay, so this refers to the ROAS at which you / the client, whoever's brand it is, you / the client is breaking even after taking into account COGS, which is cost of goods sold. So how do you figure out break even ROAS? Well, this is the formula. Sale price divided by net profit equals break even ROAS. And let's look at a real life example. So let's say your client has got a product for $100, right? And it only costs them $35 to make it. That means that $100 minus the 35, you're left with 65, if my math is correct. And so, you know, it's $100 divided by the 65 of that is profit of theirs. Whatever that number equals, you want to times it by 100, I think, which gives you the break-even ROAS. And as you can see in this case, break-even ROAS is 1.54. You want the break-even ROAS to be between 1 to 1.7 at max, right? Because, you know, if you've got a client, basically what this means is that if you've got a client whose break-even ROAS is 3.5, that means that you'll have to generate a 3.5 ROAS just to be breaking even on their product, which is not good. That means you'll have to generate like a 5, 6, 7, 8 ROAS to actually be generating them good results. Whereas, you know, if a brand's got a 1.54 ROAS, like this instance, you know, if you're generating them a 2.5, a 3, a 3.5 ROAS, that's actually really good, right? So it's just gonna make your job a whole lot easier. So you really wanna figure this out before you bring a client on board for e-commerce, because, you know, it's gonna depict as to whether you can actually generate them results or not. Next up, you want to understand the average order value, which stands for AOV, which stands for average order value. This refers to the average amount, I should say, to what the average amount one customer spends per order that they make. Next up, we got website conversion rate. So you want this percentage to be as high as possible. Ideally for e-commerce brands, you want this to be above a 2%. Really though, you want it to be like 3, 4, 5, 6%, because this basically means, again, the amount of people who visit the website and then convert into a paying customer. So you want that to be as high as possible. So let's have a live walkthrough of a client's account. So as you can see, this is one of our e-commerce clients right now. So you can see, basically I've selected the date range of January 1st, 2020. So just 2020, basically all of 2020 to date. And today's date is the 10th of August. So we'll go ahead and update that. So you can see with this client, we spent $62,300 and we brought in $960,000 to date for an average ROAS of 15.39. I'll go ahead and update it for those of you who are skeptical. So basically this is, as I say, client ad account. Now let's have a look at the metrics, because this is kind of the, you know, the metrics that I was just speaking about. This is them in action. Okay, so CPM, as I say, cost per 1,000 impressions. As I mentioned, you want this number to be as low as possible. And for anybody who's ever ran any ads, you guys will know $5.90 is a really, really good CPM. So, you know, you really want that to be as low as possible, because basically if this doubles, if this goes to $10, then what, you know, in theory, what's going to happen is the rest of the funnel is going to double in price as well, which means it's, you know, your ROAS is going to half, because, you know, the rest of the funnel is going to double, which means your cost per purchase is going to double, which means your ROAS, as I say, is going to half. Because basically that means now you're paying twice as much to reach the same amount of 1,000 people. So what basically CPM means is that, you know, if you can decrease that as much as possible, then you're going to get far more juice out of your squeeze, because, you know, you're still reaching the same amount of people. You're still reaching 1,000 people, but now you're only paying half the price. That's the idea behind CPM. Next up, we've got impressions. Now, this is actually a really good set of columns to have, guys. Like, this is genuinely what I look, or this is what the columns that I implement for all e-commerce clients, because, you know, it kind of gives you a good idea and a good understanding of the entire funnel. It gives you the understanding of the costs at each stage of the funnel, etc., etc. So next up, we got impressions. You can see in 2020, we've generated this brand 10.5 million impressions. That is absolutely insane. Next up, we've got, as you can see, unique CTR link click. Now this column here, don't look at it. It literally doesn't mean anything. It's kind of useless. This is the column that you want to be looking at, unique CTR link click. So this basically means, as I mentioned before, how well your ads are performing, because unique CTR link click, or really just CTR click-through rate, is a combination of your ad copy as well as creative. So I actually just went ahead and shut the blinds. It was super bright in my face. But anyway, let's get back into it, right? So as I mentioned, CTR is a combination of your ad creative plus your ad copy. Now, as I mentioned in the slides, I said that you want your CTR ideally for e-commerce to be 2% and above. As you can see with this brand, it is currently sitting at 3.33%, which is really, really good. Like, honestly, guys, like a lot of people, a lot of agencies out there, a lot of e-commerce brands and whatnot are trying to shoot for like a 1% unique CTR link click. Right? It's just terrible because they are, you know, their ad copy, their ads as a whole don't resonate with the audience. When you create ads that resonate with the audience, getting above a 3% CTR is easy. It's fine. It's so doable, but it's making those ads resonate, which is the hard bit, which is why you need to focus on it. Anyway, as you can see, unique CTR link click is that 3.3%. Now, if you just move down the funnel slightly, so we've got unique link clicks, so how many people have actually clicked through to the website, how many people have like done content views. The reason this is a lot higher is because people click around a lot, you know, view different pieces of content, etc., etc. Then we've also got, you know, add to carts, checkouts initiated, ads of payment info, and you can see the drop off, but this is normal. This is what happens as you go deeper down the funnel. Not as many people get down there, right? So you've got add to carts, which is 51,000 almost. Then the checkouts initiated almost halved, 23,000. Then we got ads of payment info. Then we got purchases. So this year alone in 2020, we've generated them 14,200 purchases, which is absolutely insane. And then we move forward and we've got the cost of each metric. So you can see here, content view, add to cart, checkouts initiated, ads of payment info, purchase. Now we've got cost per content view, cost per add to cart, cost per checkout initiated, cost per ad payment info, and cost per purchase. Just, it's a really, really good view. Bird's eye level view. You can see the entire funnel, see where the dropout rates are, see where you need to work on, etc., etc. And these bits here, this fuels the funnel, right? So the 3.3% unique CTR link click, you want to get that higher because, or as high as possible, because that's going to fuel the rest of the funnel, right? It's a really, really good overview. And then at the end, as you can see, we have got 63,000 in spent, or amount spent is 63K, and we've brought in almost $1 million for an average ROAS of 15.3. So that's a real life ad account, guys. I'm going to update it once again just to show you I'm not like joking, or it's not fake or whatever. Reason you can't see this section, if you're, again, a lot of people are going to be skeptical, I'm sure, but the reason you can't see this section is because I don't want you to see the actual client's, you know, ad number and whatnot. The reason this top bit section is blocked out is because, again, you know, I don't want you to see the ad manager number. But yeah, this is it. I'll update it. So yeah, that's a live walkthrough of a client ad account. And as I say, the reason we're able to generate these types of results for our e-com clients and info product clients as well is because we are implementing everything that I've already gone through in this video so far and everything that I'm about to go through. And with that being said, let's jump straight back into the training so that you guys can start to really deliver these types of results for your clients as well. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is the section now where I'm going to basically give you guys the ultimate funnel for e-commerce brands that enable you to test in the best possible way, generate the highest possible ROAS, as well as start to spend, or at least be able to spend 5 to 6K a day and produce amazing ROAS at the same time. So as you can see, testing. Now this is going to be ABO. As I mentioned to you before, ABO, ad set budget optimization, basically means you're going to be spent, however much you put on an ad set, that's how much that ad set is going to spend every single day, right? No matter what, whether it's performing or not. you want to test with ABO because that's why we're testing, right? That's the whole idea of testing, is you want to spend money on a specific ad set, specific ad, etc., because you want it to spend to see if it's working or not. If you do testing with CBO and there's like 10 ad sets in there, only 2 or 3 of those ad sets are actually going to get spent and the rest won't. So you won't be, you won't know whether they're working or not because they're not got any spend. So you want to use ABO for testing. Now, with testing, as you can see, coming down, there's 4 to 5 copy variations, copy plus creative variations. That's what you want to use. It's kind of a good benchmark, right? You want to test 4 to 5 copy plus creative variations. And then you want to go ahead and pair that with a bunch of audiences to see what's working, what isn't, what's producing the best results, what isn't, you also want to look at, whatever is producing the best results. Have a look at how that's structured. Have a look at how, like, the dynamic of that copy or creative, because it's showing you that that's working. Your audience is resonating with that dynamic / approach. So then from there, you can pull from that, create more variations of what you can see is working. And that's how you start to seriously scale out and broaden your kind of approach and have amazing ROAS across a whole heap of campaigns. And then it's at that point where you can spend a lot and generate at a ridiculously high ROAS. So you can see here, you got 4 to 5 copy plus creative variations, and then that breaks down into audience 1, 2, and 3. The reason there's a bunch of arrows going everywhere is because this isn't strict. I want to stress this. Don't think that you have to have 4 to 5 copy plus creative variations and then 3 audiences. It's not like that. It's just what I've added into this, right? You want to have as many audiences as you can, making sure, as I mentioned, that you're staying within client ad budget, etc., etc. Now, in terms of budget for these, for the audiences, when it comes to testing, it's a super big thing because a lot of people, especially in the Quantum Agency program, obviously I work very, very closely with all of the students in the program. And, sometimes they will sign a client on board. It's not out of the ordinary. Everybody's routinely signing clients on. And when they do, obviously product prices range of the clients that they sign on. So one student may sign on a client who's got a $100 product, and another student signs on a client who's got a $20 product, and another one $500 product, whatever it is. So the ad spend must match the price of the product. And the same thing for the budget for testing. You must alter the budget in comparison with the budget, with the price of the product. So if you've got a $100 product, you do $10 per day spend, and you let that run for 3 days, right? You're going to spend $30 over the 3 days if you have a $10 a day budget. But even at $30 spent, it's still not enough to understand whether that audience is a good ad set or a good variation, because the product's $100. So that means that you're basing your success off over a 3 ROAS, right? 30, 60, 90, and then that remainder is over a 3 ROAS. So there's no point basing your success over a 3 ROAS. So if you now follow this formula, it's going to help you test quicker and more efficiently. What I mean by that is you want to set the budget. So for the budget, you want to set it at AOV per ad set, or it spends AOV over 3 days. Now, again, what do I mean by this? AOV, this is why you need to know these metrics, right? AOV means average order value. What is the average order value of your client? If it's, say, for example, $100, easy numbers, $100, you want to either, depending on your monthly ad spend with the client, you want to either set the ad set at $100 a day, AOV per ad set per day, or you want to ensure that that ad set will spend minimum $100 over the course of 3 days. So that way you'll do $33 per day. And then that means that that's going to spend $100 over the course of 3 days. Either way, you're going to be able to then truly understand whether that ad set's working or not, because you've spent the AOV. If you don't spend AOV, then you don't actually know whether it's going to work or not. Now, after 3 days, so, let's say you've let the ad run for 3 days. What do you do after 3 days? Well, if the ad set is performing under break even, remember, the metrics that we were speaking about before, this is why you need to understand it, because it's going to help you deliver better results. So if the ad set's performing under break even, you want to turn the ad set off. It's not working. If the ad set's performing at break even plus 2 ROAS, leave it another 24 hours. So if your break even is 1.5, if the ad set's performing at 3.5, right? So plus 2 ROAS, you want to leave it for another 24 hours. Or if it's performing at break, if it's performing basically at 1.5, for example, if the break even's 1.5, if it's performing at 1.5, then 1.5 to 3.5, as I mentioned, you want to leave it another 24 hours. If it's above 2 plus, if it's plus 2 above break even, you want to scale it. So if it's 3.5 and above, you want to scale the ad set because you know it's working. This enables you to run ads and spend money on ads where you know 100% that it's working. It's a very, very scientific approach. Now, let's have a look at scaling. So that on the left-hand side was testing. We want to test it in ABO. Now we want to look at scaling. We want to use CBO. Now, this is something that we haven't rolled out for every single client just yet. Myself and the team at Bax Consulting, we have been testing with CBO. We've been trying out different variations, different approaches and whatnot. And full transparency, we've been seeing that it's working really, really well. So I do recommend you guys to use it. But as I mentioned, just be careful with it because we haven't fully rolled it out for every single client just yet. But at least from the test that we've been doing with it, it's been working well. And we've actually been using it to scale. We've been using this exact strategy, which is why I'm telling you guys about it, right? So scaling CBO campaigns. Now, CBO, you want to put winning ad set 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, there's arrows going everywhere because it's not set to just 3 audiences. But those winning ad sets are pulled from testing. So let's say in the testing side on the left-hand side, audience 1 did amazingly well. Audience 5 did amazingly well. Audience 7 did amazingly well. 10 did amazingly well. And 13 did amazingly well, for example. Then you want to pull those ones that did amazingly well, put it into a CBO, right? All of them together into a CBO. So for the budget now on the CBO that you're going to be running, you want it to be 50% increased on the total testing budget. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's say you've got 5 ad sets that you found in testing that was doing amazingly well. Each ad set was at $50, right? For example, $50. Now that obviously comes to $250 in total for each of those ad sets. 5 ad sets, $50 each, $250 in total. What you'd ought to do here then with the CBO is when you first launch the CBO, you want to do around, again, these numbers aren't exact. There's, you can move them, you can change them, try however you want. This is just what we've been doing. It's been working really well. You want to increase that 250 by 50%. So you want to add an extra 125 on top, which would be, I can't think right now, 350, 75 maybe. If it's not, I'm sure I'll get killed in the comments by it. Maths isn't the best, but you know what I mean, right? So then you want to set the CBO at 375, 400 say, right? Just to be safe, 400. You want to set the CBO at 400. And then from there, you want to follow the same idea as back over on the left-hand side in the terms of the after the 3 days. So you want to leave it 3 days. Under break even, cut. Performing at break even, plus 2, leave another 24 hours. Above break even, by 2 ROAS. You want to scale it even more, maybe by another 50% or whatever. And that's the section where it depends on client ad spend monthly. So I hope all that made sense. As always, at any point, guys, any questions, problems, comments, drop it below. I'm in the comment section answering everybody's questions. So if you've got any problems, questions, anything like that, more than happy to answer it in the comment section below. Now let's have a look at ad account structure. Guys, simplicity wins with Facebook. Hands down, simplicity wins with Facebook. There's 3 primary campaigns. Now, when I say 3 primary campaigns, I don't mean literally 3 campaigns. You may have more. We've got clients right now where we do have a few more, but we never have like 10 campaigns or 15 campaigns or even 7 campaigns. Usually it's around the 5 mark, right? If we have more than 3. But there's 3 topics that you want to segment your campaigns by. And those 3 topics is these, right? TOF, which stands for top of funnel, MOF, which stands for middle of funnel, and BOF, which stands for bottom of funnel. Now, top of funnel is cold targeting. This is people who don't know the brand. This is really, you want to, put it this way. If you can convert cold targeting, you're going to be fine because retargeting, which is bottom of funnel, always performs better than top of funnel. So if you can kill top of funnel at like a 4 ROAS, for example, then the rest of the funnel is going to be majorly profitable because top of funnel fuels the rest of the funnel. Now, middle of funnel is people who have engaged with the brand but have shown no purchase intent. This can consist of people who just follow the brand on Instagram, who who engage with the brand on Instagram in terms of just liking or commenting. Same thing with Facebook. They know the brand, but they have shown no purchase intent. A bottom of funnel is the complete opposite. It's people who have shown purchase intent but haven't bought. So this consists of people who have added to cart, initiated checkout, viewed content even. That's the type of people they've shown intent. They're interested because they've shown an action that proves that they're interested. That's bottom of funnel, but that obviously, proves that they're interested, but they haven't bought yet. That's bottom of funnel, that's retargeting. And that's kind of how you want to segment your audiences, as I mentioned here. Separate your campaigns via those headings, have separate sections so you know exactly where everybody's at and whatnot. Because as I say, again, simplicity wins with Facebook. You just don't need 10 campaigns, 15 campaigns with all these different segments and whatnot. You just don't need it. Simplicity wins with Facebook. Now, guys, as I mentioned, this is how we routinely generate these types of results for our clients. Everything that I've gone through in this video, obviously, before I get hit in the comment section, it does go a lot more granular. But from a bird's eye level view, from a 30,000 foot view, what I've gone through in this video is how we generate these clients, that I'm showing you, how we generate them these types of results. As you can see, $1,700 spent, $6,200 brought in for an average ROAS of 3.5. Now that doesn't seem that crazy, but look at the top right hand corner, look at the date range. This was one day, this is in one day. We spent almost $2,000 for this client and we brought back in $6,200 in one day, okay? This is another client, right? 1st of Jan to March, we spent $20,000 and we brought back in $274,000 for an average ROAS of 14.2. And this is another client, $3,000 spent and $13,800 brought in for an average ROAS of 4.6. And again, may not seem that crazy, but look at the date range, right? Again, as I say, 5th of August. Now, as you can see, if you've ever ran any campaigns in Facebook, you'll know that this screenshot is taken at the campaign level, which means account wide. You can see that there's more than 5 campaigns running. There's more than 3 campaigns running. Reason being is because this client actually is running in a whole heap of different countries and whatnot. And each country, we've got different copy, right? We've got to speak in their different language. So we're segmenting that out. We don't want to have, for example, one of them is German. And so all of the ads are actually in German. So it's quite of an experience to say the least. But that's why there's more than one campaign. But you can see that we're leveraging the CBO. We've got 350 CBO, 100 CBO, 250, 300, 500, 400, 800 CBO. And we're also using ABO. Reason being, because we're following and we're doing exactly what I've gone through in this video. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please go ahead, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Massively helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And I'm also posting videos of this nature every other day for ecom, SMMA, scaling your agency, and obviously scaling e-commerce brands, as this video stated. Now, again, as I mentioned before, things do go a lot more granular. Okay, I didn't cover absolutely everything that I possibly could have in this video, just because that would take me multiple hours. But I have got a free training that goes through how to sign e-commerce clients, and I've also got the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, which is basically an A to Z on how to start and scale your e-commerce social media marketing agency. And I'm super pleased to say that it's actually open for enrollment right now. So if you go ahead, click the first link in the description, it's going to take you to the enrollment page. And as I mentioned, in there's an entire week, right? I think it's week 6. There's an entire week where I break things down in the most granular detail. And really every student that goes through that training, okay, has the exact roadmap that I implement for all these clients, where we're generating them unmatched results, 10 plus ROAS, or we're spending, as you can see right here, we're spending like 3, 4, 5K a day, and we're still generating a 4, 5, 3, sometimes 6 ROAS, whatever it is. As I say, they have the entire roadmap to generate these results of this nature. And it's funny is that it was really at that point when I started to see student results for their own ecom clients, right? So they sign ecom clients through the program, and then they start to run the ads for their own clients, leveraging the same strategies that I go through in the program. And it was only at that point when I realized that honestly, some students, like right now, there's one student, he hit me up yesterday, he's getting like a 13 ROAS for one of his clients, and a myriad of others are getting like a 5, 6, 7, 8 ROAS. And it was at that point when I seen that, other people were implementing the same strategies for their own clients, and they were still routinely generating ridiculous results for their own clients at scale. It was at that point I was like, oh my God, this strategy works amazingly well. And guys, as I say, I'm not just trying to sell my program or anything like that. Like, this video is a genuine 30,000 foot view of exactly what we do. Only different thing is, in the program is I go a lot more granular, right? But this is still exactly what we do. So don't feel as though because it's for free, it's not as valuable or whatever. It's not like that. It's still ridiculously valuable. So as I say, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are interested, click the first link in the description. It's going to take you to the enrollment page for the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. And really at that point, you will be able to generate these types of results after you go through that service delivery week. Never mind anything else. Never mind the one-to-one mentorship I provide. Never mind the weekly Q&A calls, etc., etc. But as I say, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, wherever it is, and I'll see you in the next video.